The room was filled with a buzzing energy as the crowd gathered for a highly anticipated speech by former President Donald Trump. People from all walks of life had come to hear him speak. The hall was lit up brightly, and the stage was set with a single podium, the American flag draped behind it. The crowd cheered as Trump walked out to his signature entrance music. He waved to the crowd with his trademark smile and began his speech with his usual confidence. As Trump spoke about his policies and achievements, the audience listened intently. He talked about the economy, national security, and his plans for the future. His words were met with applause and cheers from the crowd. The atmosphere was full of energy and excitement, but in the midst of the crowd sat a man in a wheelchair. His face was calm, yet his eyes carried a certain resolve. He was a disabled veteran who had served in the army and sacrificed much for his country. As the speech continued, the veteran raised his hand in an attempt to speak. At first, his efforts went unnoticed, but he persisted until finally, Trump paused and looked in his direction. The room fell silent as all eyes turned toward the veteran. Trump addressed him directly, asking what was on his mind. The veteran wheeled himself forward to be heard more clearly. He introduced himself and spoke in a steady voice that carried both pain and pride. He described his years of service, his injuries, and the challenges he had faced since returning home. He thanked Trump for recognizing veterans, but then began to speak about the issues many like him were still facing. He talked about the lack of adequate health care, the struggles to find employment, and the mental health challenges that were too often ignored. The crowd listened in silence, their attention fixed on the veteran. His words were powerful, and his presence was commanding. Trump stood still, his usual confidence temporarily replaced by a reflective expression. The room was tense, as no one knew how the former president would respond. To the surprise of everyone, Trump nodded and invited the veteran to join him on the stage. The crowd applauded as the veteran made his way forward with the help of others. Once on the stage, the veteran continued to speak, this time addressing Trump directly. He spoke about the promises made to veterans and the gaps that still remained. He urged Trump to use his influence to bring about real change. Trump listened intently, nodding at times and taking in the veteran's words. When the veteran finished speaking, Trump took the microphone. In a tone that was uncharacteristically humble, he thanked the veteran for his service and for having the courage to speak up. He acknowledged that more needed to be done for veterans and promised to personally look into the issues that had been raised. The crowd erupted into applause, but the energy in the room was different now. It was not the usual political cheering, it was a deeper, more emotional response to the raw honesty and humanity that had been displayed on the stage. What happened next left everyone in the room stunned. Instead of continuing with his planned speech, Trump invited other veterans in the crowd to come forward and share their stories. One by one, veterans stood up and spoke about their experiences. Some talked about their struggles, while others shared stories of resilience and hope. The event transformed into an unplanned but powerful dialogue about the challenges facing veterans. The veteran who had initially spoken stood by Trump's side throughout, occasionally adding his perspective or offering words of encouragement to others. The moment brought together people from different backgrounds and political beliefs, united by a common respect for those who had served their country. As the event came to a close, Trump announced that he would be forming a task force to address the issues raised by the veterans that day. He promised that action would follow, not just words. The crowd gave a standing ovation as the veterans were thanked for their courage and honesty. The impact of that day did not end in that room. News of the event spread quickly, and the story of the disabled veteran who had confronted Trump became a national headline. The veteran himself became a symbol of courage and resilience, speaking at events and advocating for change. Trump, true to his word, followed through on his promises. Policies were implemented to improve health care for veterans, create job opportunities, and provide mental health support. The task force he had announced worked tirelessly, and their efforts led to tangible results.